maximize that push potential they have early.
We'll see how it works. New Esports, they'd love to try and take a game off this Among Us side. By the way, I'm sure the viewers have already noticed, because you kind of have to notice to hear what I'm saying right now, but we are on BTS 1 now. So, no BTS 2 left. We're on to our BTS 1. I know a few people in the chat were a bit confused as to what was going on, but there we go.
Yeah, it's a channel swap out still. You gotta love how Among Us starts. They just tip Abed for being the brave soul who has to play the Faceless Void mid. Wondering how he'll do. You can see they want to play aggressive. They've clumped up.
We have.
They'll not soon forget.
I'm really curious to see how they make this draft work for Among Us. Like, how they're going to make this mid-void a thing.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of good, right? Like, you can CS well. You've got essentially a second carry. Chrono's great utility. I mean, even the time dilation's pretty good utility for the Void. Just wonder what kind of itemization Abed decides to go for this game. It's going to be a very, very unique kind of mid lane here. Savage, he'll say hello down at the bot lane to the side of New as an arrow is going to fly in, but won't land on anyone. They do get the bounty. Savage continuing to just try and get some more harass out and drain the mana of New Esports early on.
I'll give them a
Bit of a shame there for Jabs that arrow did not connect, but what can you do? They must have known it was coming.
Yeah, it's something you have to expect when you are up against Mirana. Now, this might not be what they expect, though. Jabs is sticking around just for a bit now. He TP's out. They're going to have dual lanes. Candy, Loon, and Barry up against Whitemon and Savage. Now, this is not going to be all too fun of a lane for our AM. It should be a lot easier once Whitemon does get Enchant up. So you can steal away a boar or two, make it easier. But as long as you can apply the boar slows, you can really start to control the AM. But Savage not dissuaded. Already getting some good hits off onto Candy.
He is. That's one of the things you can do up against the Beastmaster early on. Just drain the mana of the Beastmaster and suddenly the boars aren't too big of a deal because he won't be able to summon them very often. Of course, we'll have a look at that a bit later on. The mid lane is going to be Abed versus DDZ. So they do actually put the Arc Warden in mid up against Abed, and I do agree with this choice from New Esports. It is going to make Abed's life a hell of a lot harder.
Yeah, he's already sort of struggling, and last hit slightly behind, but you can see what DDZ does. He just drops the Spark Rate, forces Abed to sit back. He has to be very cautious with his Time Walk timings, as level 1 to even level 2 and level 3 of Time Walk, really long cooldown, so super easy to punish the Void, and DDZ should have a much better time here down mid. And Abed's going to have to be really careful.
Barry does go down bot lane. Whitemon able to pick up the kill. And now Candy is going to be taking a fair bit of damage. But he is out of mana, which means Savage is going to have less damage. He does not want to continue this chase up. Meanwhile, though, Abed, he is really struggling here. He'll get the salve out. But DDZ, at this rate, if this keeps up, is going to have a very, very free lane. There's really not much he can do about it on the Void until he does have those levels up in Time Walk.
Yeah, it's going to be slow progress for Abed. I think you have to really start to look at his Void as more of a space maker in this case. His farm is going to be sacrificed for this. DDZ, expect his Midas to be at a good time. Really a lot of pressure at the supports, especially Jabs, to get that rotation. And speaking of Jabs, you know, up top, just playing tag with Mosin, this lane with Cuckoo. There's a lot that can fly out, and if you land a Torrent.
Yeah, very nice Torrent into the arrow and the Tidebringer, and they give Yamate the tip. Very, very important kill out for Among Us. Of course, Yamate can't really afford to have a bad game on the Ember. So even if you do have the mid-arc Warden, you are still expecting the Ember to be making space. So if he doesn't have a decent start here, it could be very hard for him to get that done.
Oh yeah, and you can see his laning skill build as well. It's a bit more offense-oriented, so he went for Slight and the Chains. Some chance to juke out the arrows and torrents as long as he has his spells up. So he has to be cautious about the timing of that use. And oh,
Yeah, nice torrent once again. They are going to chain up Cuckoo, but still, you look at Yamate, and he just got back into the lane, and he's going to have to salve up once again. And this lane is just not getting any easier. Now, Mosin can't do much to help him out. And even bot lane, John, I have a look back there. You look at Barry and Candy Loon, they are not having a good time. Constant region having to be brought out. Both of them will be forced to salve. And Whitemon on this Enchantress is not allowing them to even get close.
yeah, that's a scary prospect here for New Esports. They're relying on Candy to slow Savage down. They're not getting the slowdown they expect. And Barry, every time he comps hits, every time he tries to trade, Whitemon will just win.
Whitemon's being very clever, because Barry wants the level 3 mark on the Phoenix to have the level 2 Fire Spirits. But if you don't allow him to have those level 2 Fire Spirits, he can never take over the game. Or at least the lane for that matter. And so he's going to be forced to Icarus Dive and run back to the fountain. And by the time he hits level 3, it's just not going to matter anymore. They're just going to out-level him too much.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to
Yamate.
bounce back.
Top lane, John, he got hit by that torrent again. He goes for a slide, but Jabs is going for the dive. Yamate does go down before Jabs does. And Cuckoo will be fine and alive, but Mosin might go for a magic missile now. Cuckoo perhaps overstaying his welcome, and he did. And Yamate will happily give him over a tip.
Yeah, it's back and forth. You're still happy about that as Among Us. You got the kill on the core before dying in both situations. So Mosin actually does have an EXP lead over his Ember. Not what you want to see. That is the only way to kind of salvage those lanes. And you know, the only lane here going hard for Among Us is that mid, but Cuckoo rotates.
Yeah, great rotation out from Cuckoo. This is very unexpected. DDZ going to try and stand his ground, but he cannot. They will even get to kill off that Tempest double. And that was very required for Arbed, as he was still getting CS, but in terms of how much regen he's had to buy, he was not having a good game at all. But now he can actually catch up a little bit and get to that level 6 mark.
Yeah, that greedy start for Among Us is actually paying off. Like, they're at the point where at least Abed can dip into the jungle as needed. They have Savage really well farmed up, top of the CS board right now, which is always a good sign if you're an AM. And he is really way far ahead in terms of gold as well. New Esports, you need to make that lane work, but ooh.
Oh, Whitemon is playing this so well, John. He ends up killing off Candy Loon. Now Barry wants to try and trade, but he can't, because Whitemon's just going to chase him down. Barry is still at level 2. Candy Loon, almost level 4, but oh man, this is a real disaster for New Esports. This is really bad.
Yeah, they're not finding the openings. They can't exert that lane pressure, and every single lane but mid is just kind of tumbling right now. They're going to have to find a way to recover, but this aggressive play from Among Us, it's getting really hard to punish.
Look at DDZ. They're going to group up. Chrono going to be committed, and there should be an arrow coming in from Jabs, and it does connect perfectly. Mosin trying to help out, but Arbed, he jukes out the magic missile, and now he's going to die as well. And they're just 4-manning. At the 6.5 minute mark, there's 4 people in mid. They might even be able to get that T1 mid tower if they're lucky.
Yeah, they've got the siege creep up. There is going to be a slight defense. You're still TPing in. Don't want to lose this tower sub 10. It's going to be a hard defense here.
Yamate's forced to rotate in now on the Ember, but Arbed just going to stand his ground. Cuckoo does have the boat if they do get into danger. But it looks like they are going to be fine. And oh, this is just perfect from Among Us, John. I mean, you were talking about Savage's farm. He's outscaling everyone right now, Savage. 51 and 22 on the AM. He's at least 20 last hits ahead of anyone else at the 7.5 minute mark, and his net worth is going to be 700 gold ahead of anyone else. It's a very good game.
It is. He's going to have a Battle Fury at maybe the 12-minute mark with the treads and 2 rate bands. That's just mega free farm for an AM. And New Esports, we were expecting a bit more presence, but Among Us are just really applying that pressure early. They need to find a way to catch up. They need DDZ's Midas to be up, and it's really not. His farm on this on this Arc Warden has been a bit slow. It's falling behind Abed's on that mid void faces void, which is not typical for the Arc Warden. So there needs to be more time here. The new Esports buys out. They need to hit level 6 on their supports. I mean, I look at Barry. You were talking about his level 3 mark. He's just about to hit 4.
Oh, Cuckoo. Cuckoo's roaming around like a position 4 right now. Just him and Jabs going at it with Whitemon. And they kill off Candyloon again. Candy, he's still level 5. Cuckoo's level 7. Barry's trying to get levels on the other side of the map. He's level 4 right now. He's trying to catch up the best he can. And you'll see Yamate now come in. With the Invis Rune and the Flame Guard active, nobody will notice. It is only a level 2 Flame Guard, but no, they have a sentry now. And Yamate just can't set up anything, and quite frankly, I don't see the point of him being here. You still don't even have the roar up on Candyloon, so how are you going to kill anyone?
You're not. You're relying on level 1 chains? Yeah, no, I thought he maxed out chains for the offensive play, but level 1's not going to be enough. That also buys space up top. Look at Savage. He's shoving in. He's finding Barry.
Yeah,
and
while
they're
he's
going to
doing
go
that-
for that tier 1.
While he's doing that, the mid lane's being pushed in again, John. They've got to make a choice. What do you defend here?
See you later, nerds.
Looks like the answer's going to be nothing, because they are not reacting yet.
Oh, boy.
I mean, DDZ's got the Temper Stubble there, but that's not going to help. There goes your tier 1 mid. Your tier 1 top tower's also gone. 5k net worth lead for Among Us. And this is the point where you might start to question new esports and whether they can win this game anymore. And I know it's very early to call that, but with this much of a bad start, and the fact that they've lost that mid tower, which is going to mean they've lost a lot of space to farm, I don't know if DDZ can actually farm up that Midas. He might get it, but can he farm after that?
It's difficult. There's not enough space, especially with those tier 1s gone. They need to go for their own objectives, find a tier 1 bot and mid. It's just that they're not quite clumping hard enough. I mean, they're grouping up now. You've got level 6 in Candy. You've got level 6 in Mosin. So there's a bit more room there. But this is not the push you expect from a Beastmaster draft and the Moonlight in.
I bet he's got that chrono. He might get a 3-man. No,
boy.
he gets 2. Mosin is right outside. He's going to swap Yamate out, but they'll go after Candyloon instead. Candy, he does have that level 6, but he does not have the mana for the roar. So Mosin is going to drop, and Candyloon has no choice but to try and juke them out, but he cannot get out of there. Oh, just... It's going to be a 6k net worth lead now, 10-2. I suppose on the bright side, John, we do have the possibility of the 3-2-2 dream for the scoreboard right now. So just need, 22 more kills for Among Us, and we'll get there.
Oh boy. I don't know if the game will last that long, Mike, at that rate, but Yamate?
Jab's going to run in. Going to leap out of there. Nice torrent out connecting onto 2 in the back line so they could not get the roar off in time. And Among Us just happily leave. No reason to stick around. That bot tower is pretty much pointless.
Yeah, it's going to be denied off at least, but they still lose the objective. Every tier 1 gone. And you look at new esports, they've got the Beastmaster, they've got the Venge. There's still 2 more tier 1s, both of them looking really healthy as well. Among Us, I mean, they're going to have this Savage. Yeah, he actually does have... Mike, Battle Fury 2 rate bands, power treads at 12. 12
That's
flat.
insane. Roar out though. Arbed is in danger, but another nice torrent out. There's your chains. They will be able to get Arbed. Nice pick off there from New Esports. Well, that'll make them feel just a little bit better, but I do agree, John. Savage's farm is pretty darn insane. That is a fast Battle Fury timing with the rest of his items.
Oh, man, it's just too much. New esports, they may be hunting down Abed. They've got 3 kills, so the 3-2-2 dream is dead, Mike, unfortunately. Yeah,
Could be backwards. Could be backwards.
We'll count that. I'll accept that if it does go 3-22. But new esports, there's some signs of life, very sporadic. They need to keep finding those pickoffs. They have great single target control. Stall out for DDZ. Although by the time he has Maelstrom, he needs to start shoving those waves out. So it's a bit of a back and forth. As that happens, Among Us just continue to build up. You're seeing an Ags rush from Abed. That's just all about controlling that Faceless Void. once he has that up, you know, the time walk stun is going to be really hard to play against. You've got this Vlad's up on Cuckoo. So again, you look at those two cores. They're all just spacemen. They're not buying pos 1 items. They're buying items that enables them to make that space. And in New Esports, the best thing they can do is maybe punish that lonely AM, but they just don't have the opportunity to do so.
Now that Ags pickup on Arbet is kind of genius, honestly. Just going for the utility build, but it's going to make him so annoying for the side of New Esports. Just him time walking and getting bashes every time. Speaking of bashes, Mosen is about to get bashed and does by Arbet. That's going to get him just a little bit closer now to that Ags. Just about 2k gold off. That's going to make it extremely hard for DDZ.
Oh yeah, it's been a tough time already. He's had his Midas for a few minutes. He's gonna have the Maelstrom up, which is really important, and starting to get that shove out. But no travels up means it's harder to go to those lanes. And now you got the DD, so it's straight into the pit for Among Us. New Esports don't really have vision.
Roche gonna get arrowed up. Double damage on Savage, gonna make things a lot faster. Of course, Jabs even has the Meteor Hammer now, so just has the follow-up to the arrow and just offers more push potential for Among Us. As they do now get the Aegis onto Savage, he'll be working towards that Manta style up next, and quite frankly, by the rate he's farming, he's probably going to have it up in a couple minutes. It's just, there's no pressure on him. Everything's just going perfectly easy and fine. Well, now the side of Among Us, they want to reinvade that Dire jungle and start picking off heroes again. Cuckoo, he'll get run into by Yamate. Does get the bounty in for himself, but Jabs, a cheeky little arrow. Not going to land, as Barry did run south. Looks like Among Us are just going to apply some pressure to these tier 2 towers.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the space. Bot tier 2, probably not, as the creep wave's too far. They could make a move for mid. Looks like they're just going to be satisfied farming up for a bit longer. There are some nice wards here, though, from New to spot that movement, so they don't spot this lower ground obs, which is going to be helpful. That does buy New Esports some more time to just farm safely up top. You have to be a bit cautious anyway, as they do get started in that mid.
Oh, Mosen, he's going to get hit by that arrow. Jabs. Oh, Jabs. Love me a Jabs Marana.
Oh yeah, you gotta love it. And you know, the Meteor Hammer build up as well, right? So not the Yules, Mike. He knows his arrows will land. He's gonna have the follow-up.
I like the Meteor
He could
Hammer.
solo if he wants to.
Well,
Yeah.
they were lacking a bit of push potential, right? They didn't have a solid hero that does get some push in. That Meteor Hammer is going to make it a lot easier to get some damage in, and of course, it's just great stats for the Mirage. It means you never really have to go back to the base. You just have constant mana HP regen. And he gets a bounty room. Very nice.
Oh, beautiful. Gotta love it. Value shovel there for Jabs, and you know, Among Us, their push is stalled out. New, they've got their ults up. Might have to be a bit cautious. They might be able to get an opening here.
Now the tier 2 tower's going down. Candy, he's going to look for a roar, but is a bit too slow. You can't hesitate with Among Us right now. They're too far ahead. If you're going to make the play, you've got to make it.
Yeah. You just got to jump in that opportunity. I don't think they want to play defensive with this draft. Like, we were talking about these as faceless void counters. They have to be offensive with them, and they need to just roar and find an easy kill. Swap and find an easy kill. Try to snowball back that way.
Oh, DDZ, the boat's going to fly in, and Savage will jump in. Candy looking for a roar, does commit now on to Savage, but he's going to be alright. He still has the Aegis, and he won't die anyway. They'll take care of the Tempest Double. They'll get the tier 2 mid, or rather it will be denied by Barry. But now Among Us, they're actually thinking about this high ground. In fact, Mosen barely misses that torrent, but he's going to get swapped, or rather he swaps himself out. Whitemon going to go down on the Enchantress. I suppose that is a positive hero trade for New Esports, as they are very, very far behind, so they'll take what they can get. And it's up to the top lane now for the side of Among Us. There's just nothing to stop them.
Nope, they still have their chrono. They still, well, they're gonna have boat because it's such a low cooldown. There's nothing to worry about. The egg is still up though for New, so maybe they go for that. I think at this point you start to look at your high ground and start to plan around the high ground defense. It's getting harder and harder to fight outside. And you can see Among Us, they're not relenting. DDZ.
Mid lane, caught by that X. Arbet gonna jump in to the magnetic field now, not committing Chrono yet. He just wants to hold down. Arbet falling a bit low, but we'll go into the back lines now. And the Phoenix will Icarus dive, but they got the target they wanted, and Arbet has that Aghanim Scepter up. And John, you pointed out the farm on Savage, but he had the mantle like 2 minutes ago. He's going for an Eye of Skadi next, and if he was still just committed to farming, I think he would have it before the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, it's been that fast. There's just been no threat. Like Savage 102 he's not been participating in as much in these fights, but it's paying off. Like,
Just look
how
at
do
his
you
net
stop an
worth.
A-man now?
Look at the net worth graph. It seems you'd think he's playing Alchemist the way his net worth's gone up.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's not. You gotta see it to believe it. And new Esports, 16k behind here, Mike. At 19 minutes in, they've lost their tier 3. They do smoke up. They need to get these team fights out. They need to land the egg and roar somehow. Maybe find an opening.
Whitemon, they get caught. Chains are there from Yamate, and Whitemon should just be dead. Torrent is going to help him a little bit, but he hasn't got any more help coming in. Maybe the Pos 5 going down once again. But top lane, Savage, he will end up losing the Aegis to its expiry. I'll be slightly cautious of that Tempest double, as he is a bit low in HP, but he'll TP back towards his fountain. And he's about 1.5k gold off having the Eye of Skadi now. Why not?
Yeah, it's a quick farm all day, and you might be able to find Yamate.
Yamate, he's going to make a run for an Arbed. Won't be able to keep up. At least Candyloon now does have the blink up on the Beastmaster. So you can initiate just like that onto Cuckoo, but he's got the boat, and they've got no damage. X, boat, going to be out onto Candy. With the torrent to follow up, Mosin going to get a nice swap off. They are giving up. They really want that Beastmaster. He will get away. Unless Arbet somehow closes the gap, but it's doubtful. You saw that play, right? Like, they commit the roar, but there's no game plan. There's no backup. There's just commit the roar and just run.
Yeah, it's they're toying around with it. They actually took, but you can do this? They possess the Venge illusion, Mike. What?
Oh yeah, you can do this. Yeah.
Oh, that's just not fair.
Yeah. gives the aura to your whole team as well. Pretty nice.
Yep, that's completely balanced, and you know, new Esports now, 15 to 5, 17k behind. There's that Scotty. Savage, he's saving up for the Ags next. Why not? I mean, he's got all the farm now.
He's about to double the net worth of the opposing position 1 Arc Warden with a Midas. A hero with 2 Midases is about to have half the net worth of the enemy Pos 1. That is insane.
Yeah. Bad sign for new still. They smoke up, but they need to land this fight perfectly.
Arrow connects onto Candyloon in the back. They need him to roar, but he can't get there in time. Savage is going to make the jump now onto Yamate. Candy is coming in. He needs to roar ASAP, but he's not using it, so Mosin is going to go down on the bench. That's your bench gone, and now a double boat flying in. Savage back in there, gets a triple kill out with the Mana Void, and is going to continue blinking forward. You know the man wants a rampage. He might just dive the tier 4s, and he will. Savage after Barry gets the Ultra. Can he get a rampage? Yamate desperately running off, and they're calling the GG. They don't want to give it away. Chrono, but he's going to just steal it away from him.
Oh, man. Among Us. Oh, boy. It looked rocky in Game 1. It looked like new Esports brought them a good fight. But Game 2, I mean, mid faces void.